Good evening, everyone. The
Good
time
evening.
is now 7:02 p.m. I'd like to call the August 3rd, 2026 regular council meeting into order. Ms. Capone, roll call, please.
Here.
Okay, Eastman is absent. Councilmember Jablisco?
Here.
Councilmember Miles?
Here.
Mojica's absent. Montestioka?
Here.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Here.
Brooks?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, before I call on Councilman Brown to do the invocation on July 16th, 2026, just a couple weeks ago, we lost an incredible public servant in Union County, but also for the state of New Jersey, and that would be Joanne Hamilton Rajapi, longtime county clerk, amongst so many other things. I just ask that you join with me to provide her much due moment of silence. Rest in peace. Thank you. I'm going to call Councilman Brown.
Thank
Please
you,
read the
Council
invocation.
President.
Thank you, sir.
Heads bowed. Father, may everything we do begin with your inspiration and continue with your saving help. Let our work always find it in you and through you reach completion. Amen.
Amen. Ms. Capone, can you please read the open public meeting statement?
Notice of this meeting has been sent to the official newspapers, and adequate and electronic notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act as required by law.
Thank you so much. May I have a motion in a second to approve the July 6, 2026 regular meeting minutes?
I make a motion to approve the July 6th regular meeting minutes.
Councilman Joseph Jablisco,
I second.
Mr. Montestioka. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mojica's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes. Ms. Capone, do we have any reports from council committees?
No council committee reports.
Okay. Well, do we have any communications from our city officers or the bill payment list?
You received the payment of bills, the police report, and the fire report for the month of July.
Very good. Okay, so before I go into my next item, I do want to call Mr. Dieter Lurch of Lurch, Vinci, and Bliss to the dais, or if you'd like to grab the microphone, you can do that as well. Thank you. Whichever sounds better. I think that's good.
Yeah, good evening, Council
Good
President.
evening, sir.
Yeah, let me just introduce myself, Dieter Lurch. I'm the managing partner of Lurch, Vinci, and Bliss, and we represent the city of Rahway as its auditor. And responsibilities as the auditor for the city also include the approval and the approval process with respect to the 2026 budget. Let me just make this make this statement up front. Tonight's purpose is to hold a hearing on the budget as it was introduced in July. It's a statutory public hearing. There will be no action taken on that budget this evening, and the reason being is the city has an application pending before Local Finance Board, which is a statutory board in the state of New Jersey, and the application before the board is for approval to repay its terminal payout, which this council approved, which is a recommended practice under New Jersey statute, whereby terminal pay for employees, and that's pay that employees receive upon retirement, Since they've accumulated that over a number of years, the actual payment, the repayment of that is permitted to be done over 5 years. That hearing is scheduled before Local Finance Board on August the 12th, which is a week from Wednesday, after which time that action can be taken on this budget.
Thank you very much. We look forward to the 12th, and I'm going to ask Mr. Matt Pukovich, our business administrator, if he would share some words.
Sure. Thank you, Council President. I will get into a overview of the budget. Upon completion of that, we'll have our questions from the citizens, and we have Mr. Lurch here to address any questions upon completion of the citizens' hearing. The budget includes all general operations, including the water utility budget, the sewer utility budget, and the parking utility. The total citywide spending plan totals over $100 million. The municipal budget is $79,643,000. Water utility is $13,088,000. Sewer utility is $7,927,000. Parking utility $2,580,000. Municipal spending plan provides funds for all city operations. The budget spending funds the following: salary and wages was 37% at $29,479,000. Insurance was 20% at $15,840,000. Department expenses was 12% at $9,557,000. Pension and Social Security was 10% at $8,200,000. Debt service and capital were 10% at $8,118,000. The library was at 3% at $2,083,000, and we had miscellaneous at 8%, $6,366,000. The budget is funded primarily from general taxation. The proposed tax increase for 2026 is $46,502,000. This represents a tax increase of $1,045,000 from 2025. The budget is funded from the following: general taxation accounts for 58% at $46,502,000. Surplus funds, including the utilities, is at 10%, which is $8,383,000. State aid and grants comes in at 10%, which is $8,394,000. Pilots at 6%, $4,827,000. And in miscellaneous at 16%, that's at $11,537,000. The major spending increases faced by the city for 2026 were in the following areas: health benefits increased by $3 million, salary increases $1.2, department expenses $630,000, and library support $315,000. The overall spending increased by approximately $6.5 million. Much of those increases the city has little or no control over. The mayor and the council were successful in obtaining a special legislative grant of $2.1 million from our legislators in Trenton. This grant, coupled with increased surplus funds and pilot revenues, helped offset and minimize our tax increase this year. We were able to offset $5.5 million of the spending increases, limiting the tax increase to $1 million. I'm proud of the budget, while fully funding all of our city operations with a minimal tax increase on the residents. And that'll conclude.
Thank you, Mr. Pukovich. Thank you very much. I will now open the public hearing for the 2026 municipal budget. Citizens will have 5 minutes to speak, and they may only speak once. Please address all comments to the City Council. Ms. Capone, has anybody signed up to speak?
No one has signed up.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I'm going to open this up to those starting on my left. You may approach. Please say your name and your address.
May add that any questions that are asked to be addressed by Mr. Comments complete.
Absolutely. We will abide by that. Thank you. Anybody to my left?
Good evening. Andrew Garcia Phillips, 1470 Campbell Street. A couple of questions about the budget. Number one, can you explain why it is that you decided to not disclose the budget until after you introduced it last month? That's an unusual thing. I understand you think you're allowed to do that, but why did you choose to do that? You've never done that before. Excuse me? Secondly, the state operating aid that we received, $2.175 million that we got from...
Just, Mr. Garcia Phillips, if you can just... Thank you.
Is that better?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
I can hear you fine. Just, yeah.
2.175 million that we received from the state. No doubt this is a great thing for our city budget, but I wonder if you can explain why we received that. There are 564 municipalities in New Jersey. I'm sure they would all love to get $2 million for their operating budget, but only 4 did. So I'm just curious, why did we receive that? There's not a crisis. It's not a bailout. Why did we receive that? It seems like it's some kind of favor. What did we have to do to get that, or what will we be expected to do to repay that favor going forward? I think an explanation would be nice. Once again, we're using more than $1 million from the water utility from a surplus from the water utility to fill up our operating budget. We've identified a lot of projects that need to be done at the water utility. Why are we again siphoning money out of the water utility instead of paying to start fixing those problems? The general administration budget last year was $475,000, and you end up spending $1.24 million, almost 3 times what you budgeted. Can you explain what was in that budget that inflated it so dramatically? And finally, on pilots, there are many reasons I dislike these pilot tax breaks that we give to all the developers, but one of them is that it's not clear that they're actually paying what they're supposed to be paying, and maybe Mr. Lurch can explain this to us. This year, for instance, Metro Rahway was expected to pay $93,000. They actually paid $339,000. Next year, they're budgeted to pay $236,000. Water's Edge was supposed to pay $427,000. Instead, they paid $340,000, and next year they're budgeted to pay nothing. All of these budgets, or all these pilots, these are not complicated businesses. These are apartment buildings. They should be pretty much the same every year. They should generally keep going up a little bit as their rents go up. They should not dramatically fluctuate up and down. And some of these are dramatically fluctuating. Riva was expected to pay $269,000. They actually paid $880,000. Next year, they're going to pay $697,000. Mint was expected to pay $500,000. They paid $428,000. Meridia Brownstones was expected to pay $296,000. They paid $299,000. But next year, they're expected to pay $1.35 million. That's a dramatic change. Why would Meridia Brownstones go up that much next year? Why would we budget for some dramatic change like that? What is happening there? The Gramercy was expected to pay $92,000. They actually paid $0. The Gramercy has been open for 6 years. Maybe Mr. Lurch can explain this. They've never actually made any pilot payments. According to our budgets, they've never been listed as having paid anything toward their pilot in 6 years of being open. But next year, you expect them to pay $280,000. I bet that's not going to happen. The pilot program needs a forensic audit. There's something going on here. These are red flags. It should not fluctuate this dramatically. This should be a boring, every year they pay about what they paid the year before, unless their tendency is going way up and way down. And according to their websites, that's not the case. They're almost always just about full. So those are big red flags. Maybe some of them are making their payments late or early, but even that wouldn't explain it completely. So I would appreciate an explanation about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone to my right?
Hi, my name is Dave Northcott. I live on Price Street in Kearney Ave.
Good evening.
And I was wondering about the stream. I was told that you were hiring a company to come in and clean the whole stream.
Yes, I was. Yes, no worries. I'll take care of it. Hi, sir. What you're addressing, we'd be more than happy to hear what you're speaking about. At this particular point, we're addressing the 2026 municipal budget. We're going to open this up again in a matter of minutes regarding that, where you'll have 5 minutes to speak on that or anything else that you desire. Okay? Thank you, sir. No problem. I'll let someone else to my right approach if they're going to speak on the budget for this year. You may approach. You got it right there? Okay. Good evening.
My name is Ada Mills. I live on Ross Street in Rahway. I'm wondering why the St. George Avenue has not been fixed yet. There's parked cars there, and it seems very dangerous trying to duck all the creases in the road.
Okay. So
It's
I'm-
from Linden to all the way to like Avenel.
I understand. And again, you're going to be more than free to address this and anything else that you'd like to address after we wrap up the budget hearing. So at this particular time, all questions and comments are going to be about the 2026 municipal budget.
I understand, but that's not in the budget to be fixing the roads?
It-
You're talking about the budget itself.
Correct.
Numbers and everything.
Correct. So yeah, I mean,
Because
from
it
what
is
I can,
dangerous.
I'm sorry.
It is dangerous. There's, there's all cracks, and there's people that are parked on those roads.
Okay. So
And you can't even drive like in the right lane.
there's a couple of things I'm hearing what you're saying, and
Okay.
again, I would love to hear what you're speaking about. It's great. That sounds like it's matters of public safety and a couple other things too, and it may also touch the budget. But this particular part of the meeting is about the budget hearing. So if you can just sit tight for maybe about 10 minutes, we'll have another option for you to come up and address any comment you like to, including
Okay.
any public safety issues.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody to my left like to address regarding the budget? Anybody to my right?
Hi, Lisa Vandiver, 254 Oak Street.
Good evening.
Rahway. Council, Mayor, over the past several months, I've repeatedly raised concerns about transparency and public access to information. I appreciate that some progress has been made. Meeting minutes for the Rahway Redevelopment Agency have been posted. The city's website now includes the adopted 2024 and 2025 municipal budgets. In addition, a new page on the website lists all public announcements right up front via an easy link. Those are all positive steps. However, significant gaps remain, including our access to the budget and the reasonings behind it. When I spoke before this council in June, I expressed concern that Rahway's 2026 budget had not yet been introduced, while many neighboring towns had already completed their entire budget process. Even when the budget was finally introduced at the July 6th meeting, residents did not have the ability to review it beforehand, and despite the assertion it would be made readily available after introduction, we had to track it down. Now we've also learned that the budget still requires action at the state level before the process is complete. This brings up some questions about why didn't we know this going in? Other municipalities were turning in their budgets in April and May, and here we are in August, and it's looking like September before we get anything adopted. It makes it even more important that residents understand the reasoning behind decisions being made and where we stand in the process. That brings me to tonight. For the council, this is the most important vote you will cast all year. It determines how tens of millions of taxpayer dollars, nearly $80 million, will be spent, authorizes additional borrowing, and establishes the city's priorities for the coming year. Yet despite the significance of this decision, if past experience indicates, we will likely see very little public deliberation by this governing body. On previous occasions, members of the council have stated that you do discuss matters among yourselves outside of these meetings. If that is the case, I respectfully ask, where did these deliberations on the budget occur? Public meetings should be where residents have the opportunity to observe not only the final vote, but also the reasoning behind it. If the discussion isn't happening here tonight, how can the public understand how each of you reached your decision? So before you vote, I guess not tonight, but on August 17th, I think it is, I would ask each member of the council, what questions did you ask about the budget? What concerns did you raise? What changes, if any, did you seek? And why do you believe this budget is in the best interest of Rahway's residents and taxpayers? Public hearings should be more than an opportunity for residents to speak. They should also be an opportunity for us to hear from our elected representatives before major decisions are made. Transparency isn't simply publishing documents after the fact or recording a vote. It means giving us, the public, a meaningful opportunity to see and understand how you arrived at these decisions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody to my left? Anybody to my right?
Good evening, Alan Levy, 254 Oak Street. To answer Mr. Garcia Phillips's question, I would ask people to look at the New Jersey statutes. Specifically, first look at NJSA 40A-4-4, which lays out the five-step process towards the acceptance and adoption of a municipal budget. Starting with introduction and approval, public advertising, public hearing, amendments if necessary, and finally adoption. Specifically, I want to talk about the acceptance process, the approval process, which allegedly took place on July 6th. If you look at the minutes, or if you look at the packet of the agenda provided for the City Council meeting on that date, there is no budget provided in that packet. NJSA 40A:4-5 clearly states that the budget shall be introduced in writing at a meeting of the government body, and approval thereof shall constitute a first reading, which may be by title. So by title meaning you don't have to read the whole budget. You can just read the title, so long as the budget itself was introduced in writing. It never was. Now, I want to thank again Mr. Landolfi, who has shown, you know what I said to Mr. Landolfi? I said, you should really teach a course to every city council member and every mayor in Union, Middlesex, every county, of how to deal with people who are critics, even adversaries, how to deal with them with respect and courtesy. And he has been completely above board. And I wrote to him immediately after that last meeting to explain to him, hey, you guys never actually introduced the budget in writing. Now, here's the problem with it. Is it just an oversight, a clerical error? The problem here is, what did you guys vote on July 6th? Was it the same budget that was submitted to the DCA on July 9th? We don't know. There's different versions of the budget. When you tried to do this in a special meeting a couple weeks before, during June, you actually still have on the website the original budget, which is totally different than the one that was supposedly passed on July 6th. So there's multiple versions of the budget that are on the city's website. So which one did you vote for on July 6th? Do you even know which one you voted for? Because if you did, you didn't make it available for the public to see at the meeting, introduced in writing. And that goes against the whole point of the OPMA. Whether it's an ordinance or a budget, you have a first reading and a second reading. At both readings, members of the public can come up there and yell at you guys and say, I think this stinks. Okay. Then we do a second reading. I think this still stinks. Okay, they had their right. They had their opportunity to provide insight. You didn't do that. During my conversation with Mr. Landolfi, made a joke. He's like, well, if you have to file a prerogative writ, I understand. I'm like, what's that? It's like, it was a joke. So I did draft my action in lieu of a prerogative writ. Didn't file it today because I contacted the DCA, and they said, oh yeah, we haven't approved their budget yet. So I'm like, okay, there's no reason because you're not adopting it tonight. And my point is, this could have been done so much easier. All you had to do was just attach a copy of that budget to the packet in July's meeting. That way, people could see, okay, this is what they voted on, and now the future versions on the 9th or other dates, it's still the same. All of this could have been avoided. And if you just were committed to transparency and not seeing people who are critics as enemies. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody to my left? Anybody else to my right? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing on the 2026 municipal budget. And at this point, Ms. Capone, I'm going to ask you to please read resolution AR-189-26 by title.
A resolution tabling the adoption of the 2026 municipal budget.
We have any council members who have any questions or comments regarding resolution AR-189-26? If not, I'll ask for a mover in a second.
Council President, I move AR 189-26.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Second. Councilwoman Joanna Miles, thank you. Brown's Miles. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohica's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes. All right, before we go into the next section, I'm going to ask if Mr. Dieter can respond to some of the comments and questions that were provided by our residents a few minutes ago. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council President, members of the City Council. Let me just assure everybody in this room that the process that the City of Rahway conducted with respect to this budget complies 100% with state statute. State statute is very explicit. What the state statute establishes a process where the introduction that occurred on July 6th starts the clock running. That purpose of that meeting is not to give the public an opportunity to comment on the budget that evening. By statute, that budget was in writing, was filed with the city as of July 6th, and that budget was filed with the Division of Local Government Services within 3 days thereafter as required. The process requires that there be at least 28 days between the July 6th date that the council approved the budget. Once again, just to start the process, there has to be 28 days, and the purpose of the 28 days before you can have a public hearing. And the purpose of the 28 days is for the public then to have an opportunity within that time period to review the budget. Furthermore, the budget is required to be advertised, publicly advertised, at least 10 days prior to this meeting. I can assure you that was also done. So the public gets a ample opportunity to actually review the budget that was introduced by the City Council. With respect to some of the comments that were made, and I'm just going to touch on a couple of them on a high level. You know, we talked about the surplus. The water utility in the city of Rahway is a very sound financial operation. The water utility increased its fund balance from $6.2 million to approximately $7.8 million. So the reason being is with the $7.8 million, that money is used back into the fund, into the taxation budget, to offset the costs that are incurred by the city with respect to operating the utility. More specifically, things like administrative costs, police coverage, things of that nature. Those costs are not being directly charged to the utility. So that's just a reimbursement back to the city for costs that are incurred that benefit everyone who utilizes the water utility within the city. A comment was also made with the pilots. The pilots, with respect to the pilots, let me just make this comment with that. We're involved with the pilots throughout the entire state of New Jersey. The city has no control when the developer pays you, okay? All we can do is levy in accordance with the financial agreement, send the bill, this is what you owe us. If they don't pay that bill by December 31st, out of our control, because they didn't write a check for whatever reason, and there's numerous reasons that they come up with, If they don't pay us, then the next year we can't anticipate the amount because under New Jersey budget law, you can only anticipate what you actually collected in the previous year. So it's a complex issue, but I can assure you the city aggressively pursues all pilot monies that are due and owing. Let me just sum this up a little bit, too, if I may. This city council should be very, very proud, the mayor and the city council, with this budget. Throughout the state of New Jersey, and we represent approximately 50 different cities and towns in the state of New Jersey, this is by far the lowest tax increase, out of any of the communities or cities that we have represented. This increase in this budget is approximately 2%, $84. This is an $84 increase. Now, obviously, we all want a zero increase, but unfortunately, you were faced with a $3 million increase in health insurance alone. You read the papers every single day. The cities throughout the state of New Jersey are suffering. This is out of their control. These are costs that are being passed on by the State Health Benefits Commission, for which you have no control. You didn't go and raise your taxes by $3 million. Could have done that. A lot of cities had to do it. The increase could have been hundreds of dollars. Instead, you pursued every avenue available to you. You had pursued the legislative grant, which I think you should be very complimented for, that you were successful in obtaining it. You pursued all your pilot agreements. That resulted in increased revenues, and we also used the money that we created in the other utility. With all those efforts that this city council and mayor took, you accomplished an increase of $84. Once again, I challenge anybody in this room to come up with another town, another city of this size, this complexity, and providing the service that you provide that have an increase lower than $84. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dieter. And if I could just add, I do appreciate you putting things in layman's terms. A lot of people are hurting, not just in the city, but nationwide. There's a lack of support from all different levels. So we have to get creative at times. And I appreciate the fact that you were able to express that. Telling anybody that, your taxes are going to go up $84 is not an easy conversation. But you did express that we provide a number of services that so many municipalities do not provide for their residents. So I do appreciate you making that clear. And I know your resume. I know that you deal with municipalities, both big and small, of all different types of sizes and demographics. And you made your point well known regarding the approach that we took here in the city. So thank you so much for that. All right. Moving on. So we table that. Now, as promised, we're going to go to the hearing of citizens portion for this meeting. Citizens will have 5 minutes to speak on resolutions and first reading ordinances listed on the agenda only. Second reading ordinance will have their own public hearing. The floor is also open for public comment. You may only speak once, and you must address all comments to the city council. While all comments made by the public will be taken under advisement, the city council will not respond to the comments made by the public at this portion, as this portion is an opportunity for the council to listen to the citizens' concerns and not debate or go into a question and answer back and forth session. Ms. Capone, has anybody signed up to speak for this section?
Cal Shalea Lloyd, 171 Ivor Street.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Kashola Lloyd, 171 Ivor Street, Rahway, New Jersey. I did want to make a couple of really quick comments. One, I know the budget was tabled and I missed that. Apologies. But thanks for increasing the minimum to the library. I know that's something that was really important, so I appreciate that in the budget. I did have some concerns as you guys think about the budget, and I totally understand the 3 million and the things that are out of your control, but I do want to understand sustainably how we're going to manage the costs. Like getting the grants is a one-time impact. The surplus is also a one-time impact. And as we think about the holistically of this budget and what you'll provide for the community, how will we sustain that year over year? Because those things cannot be necessarily guaranteed upon. And while, yes, it has helped us to just get to $84, while that's a lot, not that much, my concern is a year from now, 2 years from now, when we don't have the ability to access grants or the utility, for whatever reason, doesn't be able to provide that surplus, we're now sitting with a budget that honestly our tax base currently as it sits cannot necessarily afford without a much significant increase. So I just want the council, as you guys think about the budget, not just obviously solving in the year, because I get that and making that clear, but how are we thinking about our budget overall over the next 4 years, and how are we managing it to the tax base that we have? Because all that is similarly with these one-time things that help offset is pushing the can down the road. And eventually at some point someone has to pick up the can and do something with it. So I just want us, as we think about that, you know, and no one wants to talk about this, but I work in corporate America, but what is the right size of our budget and of what we provide and the people that work for the city in order to sustain it? Because if we don't have the tax base to sustain the amount of people that work and give us the things for the city, that's something we just have to really think about and have, unfortunately, hard conversations about what's the right thing to do over the long term to make sure that the citizens that are here aren't feeling overtaxed, aren't feeling overwhelmed when we already are dealing with all these other costs to have significant taxes increases in the next few years. So that's the only thing I wanted to just make sure I share with the council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm actually going to go out of character for a second and not necessarily address anything that you mentioned, but a couple things that you brought up I actually probably could have said a few minutes ago. And I can tell you that throughout our many conversations, whether it be with council members and administration, I can assure you that when these decisions are being made, anybody could take a surplus or grants that come in and apply it on one particular year. And for that year, maybe even an election year, we could look like superheroes. We could, we got it down to $84. Had we been short-sighted, maybe we could have did more than that. But the thing is about making sure that we're doing the right thing, not just for today, but for 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the future. So I can assure you that during the conversations that we do have, I know that that's the way the administration and the mayor approaches it. I'll just give you one quick example. During the NJ's care time coming out of COVID, there were plenty of municipalities that kept their taxes flat, and they looked like financial geniuses, but they were getting money coming from the state. And then after that, budgets exploded. That's not something we're trying to do in the city of Rahway. Anybody can take grant money and apply it all at once. If we could spread it out throughout the course of several years to make sure that we can prevent explosion in pain, we're going to do that. So it's not addressing you directly, but it's a point I want to make in regards to how we address our budget in the city. So thank you. Anybody else on the list, Ms. Capone?
Nobody else on the list.
Okay. I'm going to open it to my right. Sir, I'll let you address if you'd like to.
Hello, my name is Dave Northcott. I live on Kearney Ave and Price Street. And we've been complaining about the creek being blocked up for years. And it's overflowing. If it would have kept raining today, it would have flooded my house. And I was told by the township that you were hiring somebody to take care of that and clean it all up, and nothing's done yet. That's about all I have to say. It's been going on for years.
Thank you very much. I'll make sure that his address is taken and we. Thank you very much. Anybody to my left? Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Amy Garcia Phillips, 1470 Campbell Street. I'm coming with my RHS Rahway High School PTO hat on. And I just wanted to say that I've been up here talking about project graduation that we did in June, and it was super successful. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank some of our contributors, if you don't mind. First, Anthony, Deej, and the entire rec center were amazing, and so we thank you very much for that. We also had some really great local contributors. We had Mr. Bayonne from Mr. B Printing, Stu Wenson at the waiting room, Tom May from Rahway Propane, Christopher Kozlowski from Kozlowski Law, or the law office of Christopher Kozlowski, Hannah Herganahan, Eric Podell and the staff of 29 West, and Johanna Ruiz from the Rahway Elks. We also want to thank our senior advisors, Emma Monroy and Tina Scheitram, and then Principal Michelle Piancini, and also all the family and friends that helped volunteer that night and help make the event a success. It's that kind of community that really makes a difference for our students. So I just wanted to thank the whole community for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody to my right? Yes. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Jeff Robinson, 244 Stanton Street, Rahway. Yeah, just a few comments about the recent World Cup watch parties that were held on East Cherry Street. I found it to be very successful and really a lot of fun. They brought out the community in a very positive way, and I would commend the folks from the SID, Special Improvement District, who organized and ran these events. They did a great job. One of the things that when I was standing there and missed the crowd that I really noticed was the cherry trees on each side of me just reaching up and covering over the sky, creating a really awesome canopy that blocked out the sun, shaded everybody below, and kept everybody cool. And it was just really beautiful just looking up at it, at these trees forming this canopy. So, unfortunately, as many of you should know, if not most of these trees are going to be soon taken down. That's part of the East Cherry Street streetscape project that's been being planned for a few years now, and supposedly is going to be underway pretty soon. The purpose of the streetscape project is to straighten out East Cherry Street, put in new sidewalks, and add a few more parking spaces. So think about it. Some of these beautiful trees are going to be, mature trees, are going to be taken out, so we have a few more places to park cars. That's what it really comes down to. Yes, the city will be planting new trees to replace the ones taken down, but as you know, it will be years before these trees reach maturity. Most of us will be long gone someplace, but we will not be around to appreciate them. So maybe the city can meet with the engineering company that was chosen to do this project and maybe figure out a way to do the project and save most of these trees. For example, there's a way to put in sidewalks, we know, without harming or damaging the nearby street trees. It can be done. Again, do we really need a few more parking spaces? And we're sacrificing mature trees for that? So it's not too late. I don't know when this streetscape project is going to be start. I believe it's supposed to start pretty soon. But hopefully the city can maybe sit down with the engineering company and our city engineer and maybe come up with a way to save these trees. Because once you take them down, that's it. They're gone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President, if I could just address Mr. Robinson's comment.
Yes, Mayor.
Everything he said is absolutely true, but he forgot one very important issue that we're going to be addressing, and that's the handicap accessibility on Cherry Street. Right now, if you're in a wheelchair or you're mobilely impaired, it's very hard to access the businesses and to get down Cherry Street. The trees in question have raised the paver bricks, the sidewalks, the curbs. This is revitalizing a focal point in our downtown, but it's also a quality of life issue for our residents who are handicapped and have mobility issues. So that is a big reason for the project, along with all the other things that Mr. Robinson mentioned as well. So I just wanted to make the record clear. Thank you very much. Oh, yes, and we will also be providing a pocket park on Cherry Street. Like I mentioned in my State of the City address, that was scheduled to be an apartment building under the previous administration. When I got into office, I felt that it just really wouldn't have added any value to Cherry Street. We're looking at Cherry Street to be the heart of our downtown, to make sure we can have events and like the World Cup viewings and many other things to highlight our great city and the businesses in and around that area. So thank you, Council President, for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to Mr. Robinson as well. Congratulations on Spain winning. I know you're rooting for Spain. Congrats to you. Anybody to my left? Bless you.
Andrew Garcia Phillips, 1470 Campbell Street. Thank you to Mr. Lurch for explaining. There are some things you just didn't touch on, though. You didn't explain the state operating aid, what strings are attached to that. You didn't explain the admin expenses tripling. Great to know another reason to hate pilots is that you just can't enforce whether they're going to pay them or not. If I don't pay my property taxes, you make sure I pay my property taxes. And should I wait?
Yes, I'll let you reclaim your time, sir. Okay, can you just pause that for a quick moment? Give him back 15 seconds.
That's all right. If I don't pay my property taxes, there's many ways you can make me pay my property taxes, including coming after my property, penalizing me. I end up paying my property taxes late. I always pay a little fee because they're late. Apparently with pilots, nothing you can do. They can go years without paying, nothing you can do. They should not fluctuate wildly even if they are paying them after December 30th, because every year they should still make that payment. There's still something going on here, and the fact that there's no explanation about it, and he just throws up his hands and says, we can't enforce this, is another great reason to not give pilots out. Thanks for that. Can we get an update on the water utility? You said you're going to look into the water utility, that it requires more careful study. Another great snippet that we heard tonight from our auditor, that the utility is sound financially. Everybody remember that when we come back to the water utility sale question. The water utility is sound financially. We don't have anything to worry about that. But it'd be great if you are still having a conversation, who's involved in that conversation? Maybe Mr. Lurch should be involved in that conversation. Whoever's telling you that the costs to fix it were, what was the phrase they used? Cost prohibitive? Apparently not. We haven't heard anything about the DPW contract status. You guys said you were going to look into it every month. How's that going? I see in the budget that there is an increase expected for those workers, but we haven't heard anything about the contract. What's happening? IT services. So last month you had a resolution to approve a contract for IT services for $300,000 with a company called Tri-State Services. I opened to find out what that included because it just said IT services, which is a pretty broad term. So I looked into what that included. It included a lot. $300,000 buys us. They're overseeing printers and servers and cameras and all kinds of things. But now, again, this month, we have two more resolutions, one for $125,000 to Najmi Services for IT services, and another one for $85,000 to Merkel LLC for IT services. IT services is a pretty broad term. It could mean a lot of different things. You wouldn't put a bunch of resolutions on the agenda that just say construction services and not tell people what they are. Do you all know what we're paying for, what all these IT services are for? Or are you just approving them? Do you know what we're actually paying for? Because now we're at $500,000 of IT services, just so far. That's a lot. It is the case that this administration has hidden expenses under vague titles. The whole effort to sell the water utility was all hidden under resolutions that didn't mention the water utility. They didn't mention MAD Global LLC, the PR company that was being paid as a sub pass-through in those. So it's entirely reasonable to ask for scrutiny beyond just what IT services are. And if we're up to $500,000 a year on these IT services, maybe you should consider hiring a developer instead of outsourcing all of these things. I don't know if you're paying attention, but IT services, the costs for IT services are dropping dramatically, and our costs are going up dramatically. So that's worth looking into. Mr. Lurch, I think you should have disclosed in fairness that you are one of the biggest contributors to the Rahway Democratic Party. You contribute to all these people's campaigns. I hope they thank you appropriately, not just you, your company, your employees, for many years. So that should be disclosed before all your cheerleading. Thank you.
Anybody to my left? Anybody to my right, pardon me. The young lady in front, would you like to? Okay. Miss? I know that you were looking to, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you can.
I don't know if you're in charge of MERPs or something, are you? What they do there?
You can make a comment.
I don't.
Just,
my
if you
name
can
is
just state, thank you.
Ada on Ross Street, Ada Mills, Ross Street.
So.
Okay, I've been noticing a lot of strange things with Mercs, like things are flying off of the building, or they're rebuilding and then building. That's not part of your budget, is it? That's like something private.
Merck is a private company.
Okay, because with all this stuff with COVID and like the Epstein files with these younger kids, I'm wondering if you could put like a roller skating ring somewhere, like over near Merck's, or if there's some other part here, because I've been working with young children, okay, and I've been through it, but the stuff that's going on with the people, like when at the age of like coming out of high school, I do think some of this stuff is ridiculous, and they need to get like children together, instead of looking for some politician that has money or something, that they end up being bribed or something as young children, because there's getting to be a thing that first of all, they legalized marijuana around the time the COVID was, and it's just like I do know like a lot of the authoritative people are involved with bribing people and everything when they're doing something wrong. I think it would be nice to have like a roller skating ring or something built here in Rahway, not just like a recreation. They used to have it like in the schools and stuff. I mean a roller skating ring where kids can get together and meet other children off grounds of the school systems or something. I don't know. I mention Mercs because they keep doing things and everything's based around, bribes, kids being bribed by adults. They seem like they're growing up too fast with all the stuff that goes on in politics. I know that's a little over, your head with the, locality of Rahway and everything, but it just bothers me to see, kids getting involved with adults the way they are. You know what I mean? I feel there's some, like you do a lot of stuff like that with the recreation departments and everything. I just think there's just something somebody could do better with the way everything's going in politics, because some of this stuff is ridiculous. You know what I mean? What they're doing for other people so they don't have to arrest people. They're letting people out of jail. It's just the kids nowadays need a little bit more closure from what the adults are trying to do. You know what I mean? That's what I mainly wanted to talk about. Plus, it is dangerous on St. George Avenue. I don't know, that scares me. I see a lot of accidents. Like when I see police cars, I see them on St. George Avenue. People are coming like this. They're going into Rahway Park, which Rahway Park is nice and everything. They need to mainly fix that road and build something where children, out of high school can get together after high school. That's my main concerns why I came here.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody to my left? Anybody else to my right? Good evening.
Good evening. Hello again. Lisa Vanderoe, 254 Oak Street. Talking about the World Cup on Cherry Street. Sounds like it was a wonderful, exciting event. It was also the location of a really terrifying Jew hatred incident the day of the finale. My husband was down there going to check things out. I said, not for me, I'm staying home. And then I started getting some very disturbing texts that someone got in his face and called him a fucking Jew, yelled, I'm a Jew hater. And there was a long incident that ensued, a lot of shouting back and forth. Apparently there was somebody there with a knife that was arrested. Unfortunately, the reporting of this from our mayor made it sound like this was all Alan's doing when he was the victim of the attack. I guess he got loud. I think that most people would be pretty loud if someone was getting in their face and denigrating their heritage, particularly in the times right now. Anti-Semitism is at an all-time high in this country. And instead of Mayor Giacobbe calling out the guy who was yelling, fuck the Jews, or the guy who was running around with a knife at a city event, Mayor Giacobbe takes to his bully puppet of Facebook. I know you've all lectured us before about we don't use Facebook for political statements. There he was, bullying me and my husband for making any statements. And I will actually, though, thank him for opening his comments up on his personal Facebook page, which he's been using for over a year and a half as a place to bully various, what he sees as political opponents. This should really be outside the realm of politics. This was a very serious incident, and it could have gone down a lot worse. Anyway, just want to let you know that. It's been a painful couple of weeks for us. This has been my first brush with it, although Alan and I have been married for 20 years. This was all sort of an abstract until that very frightening afternoon. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else to my left? Anybody to my right?
Alan Levy, 254 Oak Street. The first time I ever attended a city council meeting was in November of 2023. I had been a resident here for 20 years. I had never attended a city council meeting. I knew nothing about municipal politics. My wife, who was the 2018 Volunteer of the Year for Rahway, an award given to her by Mayor Giacobbe, she was the Politico, and I supported her, and I thought that was great. However, the first time I did attend that I came to this meeting was because in the days following October 7th, 2023, the deadliest day for Jews since the Holocaust, a member of this council publicly posted anti-Semitic conspiracy theories on their social media account. I wanted to put a face on the pain that Jew hatred causes, so I came here to speak. Ironically, that was also the very first time the mayor ever contacted me. And it was to tell me that responding publicly on social media to public social media posts was not the appropriate place to raise my concerns. That theme continues today. 2 weeks ago, I was involved in an anti-Semitic incident on Cherry Street during the World Cup Watch event. A woman who you all know, named Adele Quinn, who owns that building on Cherry Street that looks like an episode of Hoarders, claims to be a bookstore, more like a fire trap. Look at the front door, filled with violations from the fire department and the housing department, just filled with violations, yet still there. So she's also spent years promoting anti-Semitic conspiracy theory and Holocaust denialism on her social media. So I did confront her briefly that day, and I asked her why she was spreading lies about Jews and spreading Jew hatred. And I intended to speak to her for less than a minute and leave. However, at that point, a man approached me and yelled in my face, "Fuck the Jews," and declared, "I am a proud Jew hater." Police quickly intervened at that point, and that's when I pulled out my phone and began recording. Another man at that point was then arrested on a weapons charge. The videos are public, and people can judge them for themselves. So despite what has been claimed, I did not go there intending to confront her. How could I have known she'd even be there? If I had intended that, I would have been filming already. I was not. I committed no violence. I threatened no violence. I was neither arrested nor threatened with arrest. And I want to thank the Rahway Police Department for handling the situation so professionally. So who did the mayor and even Councilman Brooks choose to blame? The Jew. Read their initial statements. There's no mention of the years of anti-Semitic posts from Adele Quinn, no mention of the man screaming in my face, "Fuck the Jews," and no mention of the individual arrested on a weapons charge who tried to insert himself into this confrontation. Only after public criticism did they acknowledge these facts, and only as an afterthought. Their intent was to vilify and blame me. The mayor has said I handled the situation the wrong way. That response reflects a double standard many Jews know all too well. We are told anti-Semitism is wrong, but we're criticized for how we responded to it. We're told we should stay quiet, be calmer, or handle it differently. That pattern is clear. There will never be a correct way to combat anti-Semitism. Imagine if these statements had been directed at an African-American, or gay person, or a transgender person. There'd be immediate outrage and condemnation of the bigotry itself. Instead, the focus became on criticizing the Jew, the person who spoke up against Jew hatred. I will acknowledge one mistake. I should have never put myself in a personal confrontation like that. A friend at the Anti-Defamation League contacted me and reminded me that Jews today are being assaulted, shot, and stabbed in the street in broad daylight simply for being Jewish. And that reality, including the man who was arrested for his knife, makes these encounters very dangerous. And I'll close with 2 points. First, never begin a sentence with the 4 words, "I oppose anti-Semitism, but." There is no but. Second, if anyone believes that this incident will silence me, you clearly don't know me. Yes, I'm running for city council, knowing full well that no Republican can win in a citywide election where Democrats outnumber us 5-1. That's not the point. I'll continue speaking out against hatred and bigotry.
5
and I'll
minutes.
continue calling out those who excuse it or remain silent to it.
Thank you, Mr. Levy.
I will not be silenced.
Thank you. Anybody to my left? Anybody to my right? There was a couple things mentioned. I'm going to knowing that no one else is looking to speak, wanted to need first a motion and a second to close the public hearing portion of this meeting.
I make a motion to close.
Thank you,
I'll second.
Councilwoman Miles. Thank you, Councilwoman Timmons. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mojica's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons? Yes. Brooks?
Yes.
Council President, before you speak, if I may address the council and the public, please.
Absolutely, Mayor.
Thank you. I want to take a moment to address the incident that was just referenced that unfolded during the World Cup watch party. Let me first start off by saying very clearly, I condemn anti-Semitism, racism, bigotry, and hates of all form. There's no place for hateful rhetoric or any type of language in our community and in our society, and I will always stand against it. At the same time, I believe we must be willing to call out the inappropriate conduct, even when we may understand or share the underlying concern. Being offended or angered by something someone posts on social media does not justify escalating a confrontation, particularly when that confrontation created an unsafe situation for Mr. Levy and the people around him. So I'm going to explain what exactly I witnessed. My wife and I arrived to the watch party. We were walking over to meet some friends when Miss Quinn stopped to say hello. As we were wrapping up the conversation, Mr. Levy approached us, immediately began yelling at this woman, accusing her of being a Jew hater. She said nothing to him at that moment. At the time, I had no knowledge of any prior social media post or the situation that may have led to this confrontation. What I witnessed was Mr. Levy aggressively berating this woman in a manner that was loud and confrontational. My wife became frightened and went to find a police officer. Mr. Levy appeared extremely angry, and several people nearby became visibly concerned. As more than one individual became involved, the situation escalated and ultimately required intervention from the police and an arrest, which was not Mr. Levy. I condemn those individuals and what was said, and I condemn the post that caused Mr. Levy to react. My criticism of Mr. Levy was never intended to minimize or defend hateful speech or offensive posts that prompted the confrontation. Those comments by Miss Quinn were wrong, and I condemn them, and like I said before, I condemn the behaviors of the two men who were involved in the altercation. My issue was never with confronting individuals who spread hate or propaganda online. My concern was the manner in which this particular confrontation was handled and the decisions to engage in a heated confrontation rather than have a productive conversation or simply walk away. Instead of helping to de-escalate the situation, Mr. Levy continued to engage and antagonize police officers and individuals involved, including putting his phone in their faces. In my opinion, that does not demonstrate a level of judgment, restraint, or emotional control that I believe the public should expect from someone seeking elected office. Mr. Levy, I would ask you this. Don't you believe a better approach would have been to pull Ms. Quinn aside and have a conversation with her about how dangerous her post was to the Jewish community? Don't you believe it would have been more productive to explain how spreading hateful rhetoric and propaganda can put members of the Jewish community, including yourself and your family, at risk? I let you speak, sir, without interruption. I ask the same.
You asked me a question.
Sir,
There are ways to confront hatred forcefully and effectively without yelling, screaming, and intimidating others or creating an unsafe environment for the people around you. What makes this especially concerning is that Mr. Levy has repeatedly lectured me and members of City Council about the high standard in which elected officials are held and has argued that public officials must keep their emotions in check regardless of what is said to them or how they are treated. And I agree. Yep. Wow. You know, you guys expect a certain decorum and respect, but you do not give it. And the standard cannot be different. What an appropriate paragraph. The standard cannot be different depending on who's involved. If we expect elected officials to remain calm and composed when they are criticized, challenged, or confronted, then the expectation must apply for everyone, including those seeking public office. I'd also like to remind the public that it was Mr. Levy who chose to post on social media accusing me of condoning Ms. Quinn's anti-Semitic post. Those are serious and damaging allegations, and because of their nature, I believed it was important to respond. So let me be clear. I did not make false accusations against Mr. Levy. Mr. Levy made false accusations against me. My response was simply to set the record straight by addressing his own conduct and correcting the misinformation that he spread. As an elected official and public servant, we have a responsibility to lead by example. That means exercising restraint, maintaining our composure, and working to de-escalate tense situations rather than contribute to them. As mayor, I will continue to speak out against anti-Semitic rhetoric, racism, bigotry, and hatreds of all form. At the same time, I will continue to hold myself and other elected officials and those seeking public office accountable for the standard of conduct that the people of Rahway deserve. Leadership requires accountability, consistency, and the ability to communicate with people who we disagree with without resorting to yelling, intimidation, or verbal confrontation. The responsibility of public service is not simply to represent our supporters or defend our friends. It is to lead with integrity, treat people with respect, and exercise good judgment, and work to bring our community together rather than divide it. That is the standard that I will continue to uphold as mayor of the city of Rahway. Council President, thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mayor, for your clarifying comments, and I want to briefly comment. Not so much on the day. It was a very, outside of the World Cup, which is a beautiful event. That was a very ugly and nasty incident. We condemn those words that were used. They were disgusting, disgraceful. I don't think anyone here can stand by that. To put hate and hateful language towards any group, religion, sex, what have you, is something that I don't stand by. And I regret that it happened. With that being said, one of the things that the mayor has said is there's a certain burden that comes with being in a position of leadership. I'm not looking to play the oppression Olympics, but I am a black man. My family's Muslim. I see on a regular, on the group that you want to be so much a part of, the Rahway Community Voice, a ton of anti-black racism that's expressed on a regular. I see you shrug and you kind of dismiss what I'm saying. Do you have something against black people, Mr. Levy?
Are you asking me the question? Why don't you have them removed? Tell your campaign manager, remove those people instead of me.
All right, sir, listen.
You asked me the question.
I'm not asking you a question, okay? But see, you know what? This is why I usually don't have an issue providing you a platform, because you expose yourself with your behavior, and you showcase how you wouldn't be fit to be in a position of leadership. So to the point I was trying to make is that I often see anti-black racism expressed by, unfortunately, members of my community that I represent. It would be foolish of me to approach these people in public and say, I've seen something racist that you address. Does it hurt my feelings? Absolutely. Do I like seeing it? No, I do not. But I understand the position I'm in. One last thing I want to say is that we can't be in the habit of conflating situations. Criticisms for governments are not criticisms towards a group of people or a religion. I think you tried to conflate that, Mr. Levy, and that's unfortunate. With that being said, my comments speak for themselves. Thank you, Mayor, for making your clarity. Thank you for all those who have had a chance to express themselves. Again, what happened that day was regrettable, but I'm glad that everybody is safe. And with that, we're going to move on to any other comments you might have, Mayor. Would you have any comments you'd like to express?
Good evening, Council President, members of the City Council, my fellow residents joining us here tonight and watching on TV. First, I want to offer Hello. There you go. First, I want to offer my deepest heartfelt condolences to Joanne Rajapi's family. Joanne's dedicated decades of her life to public service, serving with professionalism, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to the people of Union County. She understood that public office is about more than holding a title. It is about serving others, strengthening our democracy and institutions, and leaving your community better than you found it. She did exactly that. Council President, thank you earlier for having a moment of silence. Once again, to the Rajapi family, my deepest condolences, and may Joanna Rajapi rest in eternal peace. Now, I want to take a few moments to highlight some of the amazing things happening right here in Rahway. Recently, Rahway was featured in Business View magazine. The feature highlighted the city and all of the great things happening here, from strong leadership and smart development to connecting our community with a vibrant community and a bright future. It gives me incredible sense of pride and honor to see the city of Rahway recognized for the progress we have made and for the hard work that so many people have put in to move our city forward. I encourage everyone to visit our social media pages where you can find the link for the full feature. On another note, it was pretty cool to see the city of Rahway featured in the season premiere of Impractical Jokers. It's exciting to see people outside of our community recognizing what we already know. Rahway is an amazing city with so much to offer. Last week, we also had the opportunity to cut the ribbon and welcome the Watina Dog Park. This is a great example of what can happen when government partners come together to invest in quality of life projects for our residents. I want to thank the Union County Commissioner Chair Joe Bodak and Commissioner James Baker for joining us to celebrate our newest dog park right here in our great city. And I'd also like to thank Senate President Nick Scutari, Assemblyman Jim Kennedy, and members of our City Council, and former Commissioner Sergio Granados for also attending. And Sergio was instrumental in the planning of this project and helped bring it to life years ago when we first started planning. I want to thank our county partners, our state partners, our city council, our administration, and everyone who played a role in making this project a reality. Most importantly, I want to thank our residents for continuing to place their faith in us as we work to make Rahway an even better place to live, work, and raise a family. I also would like to remind everyone that registration is now open for the second annual Mayor's Cup basketball tournament. This is a 30 and over, 3-on-3 double elimination basketball tournament, and the winning team does take home a cash prize. We had a great time last year, and I hope to see everyone back out there again for another amazing event. The registration link is available on our social media pages, so get your team together and sign up. Tomorrow, August 4th, we will also be hosting our annual National Night Out at the Rahway train station. National Night Out is a great opportunity for families to come together and strengthen the partnerships between police officers, local agencies, and the community we all serve. We invite everyone to come out to enjoy some family fun activities, meet officers and organizations that serve Rahway every day, and celebrate the strong relationship and connections that help make our city safe and strong. And of course, it's August, and that means the Mayor's Summer Concert Series is back. This Thursday, we kick off another month with free concerts right outside the Union County Performing Arts Center. Every Thursday night in August, we will have amazing live entertainment, family activities, and book bag giveaways for our young students as they prepare to head back to school. I'm also excited to share that this Wednesday, I will be joining DJ Drewski on Hot 97 to promote the Mayor's Summer Concert Series and talk about some of the other great things happening right here in the city of Rahway. I want to thank DJ Drewski for giving me the opportunity to come on the show and to showcase everything that Rahway has to offer. Quick concert lineup. August 6th is Mi Gente Live. August 13th is Nico Moon. August 20th is DJ Drewski. And August 27th is All for One. All concerts begin at 7 p.m. at the Union County Performing Arts Center located on 1601 Irvin Street. And remember, these concerts are rain and shine, and if we experience bad weather, the concerts will be moved inside to the theater. I encourage everyone to come out, bring your family, bring your friends, and enjoy what promises to be another incredible summer in Rahway. And finally, I'd like to speak briefly about the budget. As mayor, one of the most important responsibilities each and every year is to present a budget that provides the services our residents need while being responsible with taxpayer dollars. Those services include public safety, including the services including public safety, police, fire, public works, and recreational programs and activities that our residents have come to expect and enjoy. My goal is to always provide these essential services in the most responsible and cost-effective manner possible, while continuing to invest in the future of our city and maintaining the quality of life that makes Rahway such a great place to call home. I want to close by thanking my administration, members of the City Council, and all of the hardworking employees throughout the city of Rahway. The success of our city does not happen by accident. It happens because dedicated people show up every day, work hard, and remain committed to a common goal. And that goal is simple: to make Rahway the very best it can possibly be and to keep moving Rahway forward. I'm very proud of what we have accomplished together, and I am even more excited about what is ahead. Council President, once again, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. God bless everyone, and please enjoy the rest of your summer safely and happily.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to call DJ Drewski, make sure he makes you freestyle when you do your interview. All right, Rappin' Ray.
Council President.
Yes.
May I just add a correction. I was not here at the last meeting, and I voted yes on the minutes. If that could be changed to, I don't think I can vote on them because I wasn't there.
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
Thank
abstain. Yeah, thank you, Councilwoman Miles. Mr. Puckovich, do you have any comments or reports this evening?
No comments, but I can get right into the summaries of the ordinances and resolutions. First, we have O2326. It's an ordinance. This is going to allow for resident parking only on Hazelwood Ave between Fulton Street and New Brunswick Ave. We have that side of the street is residential homes. On the opposite side of the street is 970 New Brunswick. The side of it, it's a very large factory commercial property, and the resident there has a disabled child, and they have been having a hard time with people parking and blocking their driveway. We've tried extra enforcement there. It's a persistent issue, but we think this should be able to clean up the problem. O-24-26. This is going to, amending Chapter 177 Construction Codes Uniform Code for the City of Rahway. This is just going to change the fee schedule when people are looking to install solar systems. Moving on to resolutions, we have AR 175-26. In January, we failed to appoint Dan Lee as a city engineer. The city attorney alerted us to this oversight, so we're just doing some bookkeeping and making sure that he's appointed. We're very happy with Mr. Lee's services. AR 176-26 and AR 177-26, they go together. As you're aware, we appointed a new IT firm that started on July 1. We are separating from both Najmi and Merkel. This is going to allow us to square up our bills and be done with end that relationship and move forward with the new vendor. AR 178-26, this is approving a professional service contract to Dakota Doyle LLC for special conflict counsel. If there's a situation that arises where our general counsel is conflicted out, these folks will be able to be called upon. On to code enforcement, we have AR 179-26. This is authorizing the filing of liens against certain properties to recover cleanup costs. If somebody's property goes unkept or becomes overgrown for too long of a period of time and the city has to take action, this allows us to lien the property to recover our cleanup costs. Down to engineering, we have AR 180-26. This awards the acceptance of a bid for a project entitled 6 Property Demolition. This is over on Pierce Street. The properties, there's 4 residential properties, and then there's the one on the corner as well, and also the Mango's property. So those are the buildings that will be demolished. AR 181-26. This, what this resolution does is we had went out to bid. There were no responsive bids. On the second round, we had got 2 bids. The low bidder that was awarded said there was a problem with their submission and they wanted out of the contract because they couldn't perform the work. This authorizes us to get into negotiations to get a new contractor. AR 182-26, it's a resolution authorizing an amendment to the contract with Landtech Construction for the Paseo improvements. AR-183-26, this is just authorizing final payment and closeout change order for the Water Quality Assurance Initiative Phase 2. As you're aware, the engineering department's been undertaking the replacement of any lead feeds into the homes, so this is associated with that. Out of the health department, we're accepting a grant that will help pay for salaries in that department. Out of the police department, we're authorizing the purchase and installation of emergency equipment to make the sport utility vehicles we purchased actual police vehicles. Down to Public Works, we have a resolution authorizing the participation of Rahway in the greening of Union County grant. We do this every year, so this is housekeeping. Then we have a resolution awarding a contract to Unitemp for HVAC maintenance at the Rahway Public Library. And then lastly, in Revenue and Finance, we have AR-188-26. It's a resolution authorizing the refund of money due to the redemption of tax sale certificates for 2025 tax liens. And that concludes the summaries for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Puckovich. Thank you for providing those summaries. Very helpful. Ms. Capone, can you read Ordinance O-23-26 by title?
An ordinance amending Chapter 401 of the Code of the City of Rahway, Vehicles and Traffic, East Hazelwood Avenue.
Do any of my fellow council colleagues have any questions or comments on Ordinance O-23-26? May I have a mover? Yes, Councilwoman Timmons.
If you could just clarify again, I overheard you say that was the residential side. Across, I know is across the street is business. The side of a business. Will the parking on that side change, or so on a first come first served commercial basis? And although I know they have plenty of parking on the other street in their parking lot, but their customers will still be able to park there as well. Okay.
Thank you, Councilwoman Timmons. May I have a mover and a second?
Second.
A mover, initial mover. Brown and Jablisco?
Yes.
Brown, Jablisco. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohika's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes. Ms. Capone, please read ordinance O-24-26 by title.
An ordinance amending Chapter 177, Construction Codes Uniform of the Code of the City of Rahway.
Do any of my council colleagues have any questions or comments on ordinance O-24-26? Seeing none, may I have a mover and a second?
Council President, I'll move O-24-26.
Thank you, Councilman Montestioka. Second.
Second.
Councilman Jablisco, Montestioka, Jablisco. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohika's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Ordinances O-23-26 and O-24-26 are deemed adopted on first reading and will come up for public hearing and final adoption on September 8th, 2026 at 7 p.m.
Fantastic, Ms. Capone. Next is ordinance on second reading. Ms. Capone, can you please read the title for ordinance O-17-26?
You need
by
to do
title?
the consent agenda for the resolutions.
My apologies. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, right? Okay. Let me go back. I make mistakes. That was a mistake. We'll fix that. All right. May I have a motion in a second to adopt the consent agenda? Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Miles Timmons. Roll call, please.
Okay, this is for resolutions AR 175-26 through AR 188-26.
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohika's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Capone. Thank you. Next is ordinance for second reading. Ms. Capone, can you please read the title for ordinance O-17-26?
An ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank.
All right. At this time, I will open this up for a public hearing for ordinance O-17-26. You will have 5 minutes to speak on this, and you only speak once. Please direct all comments to City Council. Has anybody signed up to speak, Ms. Capone?
No one has signed up.
Anybody would like to comment on this particular ordinance? Seeing none, I would like to close the public hearing. Do any council members have any comments on this ordinance? With that being said, or nothing being said, I'm going to ask for a motion in a second to adopt ordinance O-17-26.
Make a motion, O-19-26.
Councilman Jablisco, a second.
Second.
Councilwoman Councilman Montez de Oca. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohika's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes. The next is ordinance on second reading. Ms. Capone, please read the title for ordinance O-19-26.
A bond ordinance providing for acquisition of vehicles by and in the city of Rahway in the county of Union, state of New Jersey, appropriating $520,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $495,238 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you very much. At this time, I will open a public hearing for ordinance O-19-26. You will have 5 minutes to speak, and you may only speak once. Please direct all comments to City Council. Has anybody signed up to speak, Ms. Capone?
No one has signed up.
Okay. Is there anybody from the public who would like to comment on this particular ordinance? All right, seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing. Does any council colleagues have any comments on this ordinance? All right then, I need a motion.
President, I move O-1926.
Councilman Brown,
Second.
Councilman Joseph Jablisco, roll call please.
Councilmember Brown? Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mojica's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes. Next ordinance for second reading. Ms. Capone, can you please read by title for ordinance O-20-26?
A bond ordinance providing for construction of a municipal parking lot on Fulton Street, Pierce Street properties, buying in the city of Rahway in the county of Union, state of New Jersey, appropriating $400,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of 380,952 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
All right, this time I will open up for public hearing for ordinance O-20-26. You will have 5 minutes to speak, and you may only speak once. Please direct all comments to City Council. Ms. Capone, has anybody signed up to speak on this ordinance?
No one has signed up.
Anybody publicly would like to speak on this particular ordinance of O-20-26? Hi, good evening.
Evening. Andrew Garcia Phillips, 1470 Campbell Street. I spoke about this ordinance last month to point out that there's another case where we're being asked to use taxpayer dollars to clean up a mess made by a developer who bought those properties on Pierce Street, let them become dilapidated, and then we bought them back for more than he paid for them. And I made that comment just that we should stop doing that. In addition to that is the Mangoes site that's also part of this property, which we purchased long ago. We've been sitting on for a long time and is also going to be part of this project. I would like you to vote to table this ordinance tonight for 2 important reasons. One, the environmental abatement that needs to be done for the Mango site is a significant cost, I've been told. No one here has confirmed anything, but I've been told anywhere between $50,000 and $2 million. I don't know what it's going to cost, but it's part one of this project. Before you demolish, before you build, you have to take care of whatever environmental problems there are at that Mango site. If you don't know that number, then you should not pay for parts 2 and 3 until you know what part 1 is going to cost. If you know that number tonight, please share it with the public. We'd be interested to know. But if you don't know that number, it would be irresponsible to vote yes to these 2 ordinances. The other reason is that when I brought up last month, Bob Landolfi took the time to explain not anything about what I said, but who's to blame for this situation. I didn't ask who was to blame. I just said we should stop doing this. But he said that Mangoes property was purchased by the previous administration. We were saddled with it, and now we have to take care of it. So I looked into that, and it's pretty easy to see that what Mr. Landolfi said was not correct. The previous mayor stepped down the end of 2017. The Mangoes property was purchased at the end of 2018. I emailed you these documents today, so you have them if you want to look at them. So a full year into the Giacobbe administration, this property was purchased. And maybe Bob just forgot the timeline, except for this second part, which is that at the time when the Rahway Parking Authority purchased the Mangoes building, the executive director of the Rahway Parking Authority was Bob Landolfi. He was the one who oversaw the purchase of that property. So contrary to what he said, to blame other people for saddling this administration with this property, Bob Landolfi saddled this administration with this property. So the fact that the person who oversaw the purchase of it is now asking you to clean it up without telling you how much it's going to cost and lied to you directly to blame other people should be a big concern and should make you want to look into it yourselves and look at some source documents before you move further. It is not the case that this was purchased by the previous administration. It is also not the case, as he said, that no environmental assessments were done by the previous administration. If you look through the documents I gave you, there was a lot of discussion about how much it was going to cost to do different environmental work. There were budgets for that presented to that committee, to that authority, board, whatever you call it. Once Bob took over, there was no more discussion of that. and then the purchase of the property was handled hours before the Rahway Parking Authority was dissolved. This was also done at the insistence of Mr. Landolfi, so he wanted you to dissolve the parking authority, which happened at the end of the day on December 31st, 2018, and just hours before they went ahead and purchased
1 minute
the
warning.
Mango's property on that same day. So you should ask questions about that, but as you do, you should remember that Mr. Landolfi lied to you directly about this the last time he spoke about it. So I would encourage you to table this, to look into it, and to make sure that you're not committing yourselves to an expensive project that's not worth the parking lot that we're going to get out of it. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Landolfi. If you can just
I'll be brief.
yeah, thank you.
That deal, and I'll stand by what I said, was negotiated by Mr. Lenny Beer, who was the executive director of the Parking Authority prior to my presence there. And it was approved previously by the Steinman administration. At least that is what Mr. Beer relayed to me personally. So I can say that authoritatively that I did have that conversation with Mr. Beer. I would also advise you that Mr. Beer resigned on very short notice. I believe he virtually gave us no notice, as I recall. But that deal was negotiated and perfected by the prior administration, by the Parking Authority, and we did close on that property prior to transferring the Parking Authority over to a parking utility. That was on the advice of council at the time, and also the advice of the financial advisor who was involved, Dennis Enright from NW Financial, so that both from a financial perspective and a legal perspective, we were advised to move forward with that purchase and consummate it, so that it was done. The time frame is correct, but the manner in which it was done and who negotiated that deal and who ultimately is responsible for it are folks that are no longer here.
Negotiations take some time, I would imagine, correct? Negotiations can take time.
Absolutely, Council President. That's correct.
Very simple question, but I do appreciate you answering that. I mean, I think we all recognize that as well here on council. Anybody else from the public would like to speak on ordinance O-20-26? All right, seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing for that particular ordinance. Does any council colleagues have any?
Council President?
Yes.
I'd like to see on O-20-26, I'd like to be.
Hold on one second, Mr. Brown. My apologies. I'm going to I'd like to close the public hearing. Okay, now you can go.
I'd like to move O-20-26 with an explanation. I've been on council for quite some time, and on this street, Fulton Street, Pierce Street, it's been an eyesore in the community for many, many years. And I'm glad to see that the administration has come to the point of doing something about it. You know, it's like anything else. When you're on council, you see things that has to be done, you get them done. That's the purpose of us here on council. It's easy to sit out and say things if you don't know directly what it is. But I'm glad to see that we're going to do this. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you for your thoughts, Councilman Brown. So you would be the first, so I have a second to adopt ordinance O, or any
Second.
comments for that matter.
Any comments? Second, otherwise.
Okay, great. Thank you, Councilwoman Miles. Okay, so we got Brown and Miles. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohica's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes. The next ordinance for second reading. Ms. Capone, please read the title for ordinance O-21-26.
A bond ordinance providing for demolition of various existing structures on city-owned properties, binding in the city of Rahway and the county of Union, state of New Jersey, appropriating $250,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $238,095 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you, Ms. Capone. At this time, I will open the public hearing for ordinance O-21-26. You will have 5 minutes to speak, and you may only speak once. Please direct all comments to City Council. Has anybody signed up for this particular ordinance, Ms. Capone?
No one has signed up.
Okay, I'm going to ask if anybody from the oh, you're right here.
Here I am.
Oh, here you go. Voila.
Andrew Garcia Phillips, 1470 Campbell Street. You still didn't answer the question, how much will it cost?
Sir, I'm going to politely ask if you're going to speak on that particular item that you can have a seat and you can address it later after the meeting. This is on ordinance O-21-26. You can hear,
ordinance.
right?
Read the ordinance, Jeff.
Okay, you are asking
It's
a
about
question.
the same property.
Excuse me?
Read the ordinance.
Okay.
It's about the same property.
You listen. I stand corrected.
Were you going to vote yes on it without knowing what you're voting on?
Mr. Phillips.
Garcia Phillips.
Mr. Phillips.
Is it my time?
Mr. Phillips.
Garcia Phillips.
If you show me your license that says Mr. Andrew Garcia Phillips, I will gladly call you Mr. Phillips. I will take you up on that.
Are we in high school, Jeff?
Call me Emperor Brooks.
Are we in high school?
You go ahead.
Andrew Garcia Phillips, 1470 Campbell Street. As I was saying, you still didn't answer the question, how much are you going to pay to do the environmental abatement before we do the demolition? Do any of you know? Does the administration know? Have they told you? And you might as well tell us. We're going to find out. It makes a big difference whether it's $50,000 or $2 million. It should be alarming to you that they won't tell you this number, but they will spend time to redirect blame at other people. Bob Landolfi, again, has his facts wrong. I know, it's disappointing, Jeff. He said that Mr. Beer stepped down in a hurry. That's not the case. Mr. Landolfi came in to work on the 2030 initiative. How's that going? And instead told Giacobbe that he should dissolve the Rahway Parking Authority.
Council President, the speaker's out of order. This has nothing to do with the ordinance.
I'm talking about the timeline that led to this decision.
Now, you're a little all over the place, but, go ahead.
And so the Rahway Parking Authority was to be dissolved by the end of 2018. And Mr. Beer, you can see in the minutes that I sent to you, offered to stay until the end, until it was dissolved, to finish out that work. And the next month, Landolfi and Giacobbe.
Sorry, Council President, it's still out of order.
Yes, I'm going to, just, if you can just keep it on subject to this particular ordinance.
During all this time, they're discussing the purchase of the Mangoes property. And at one of the meetings where they're going to discuss the purchase of the Mangoes property, Landolfi and Giacobbe show up and push out Mr. Beer. And who is put in his place? Mr. Landolfi. So at any time here, he could have changed the direction. He is now the executive director. The board is very compliant. They've never voted no against anything they were told to vote no, as every good Rahway board does. And instead, he does not push back on the purchase of the Mangoes property. He does not ask for more environmental assessments. He instead allows that to go through. He easily could have changed course, but he didn't. And now he wants to blame other people. Last month he said it was the previous administration. Now he's like, well, it was the people who were there. At what point does the executive director of that authority take responsibility for what he did? But the matter before you is that you should vote no on this because, for one, they won't tell you how much they're going to spend to do this environmental abatement. And for two, they keep lying about whose fault it is in the first place. Those should be big red flags for you.
1 minute warning.
It's a shame that they aren't. But considering that you didn't even know what this ordinance was about, I'm not surprised.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Okay. Anybody else in the public like to speak on the ordinance O-21-26? Seeing none, is there anyone who would like to comment from council?
Council President, I'd like to move O-21-26.
Councilman Brown?
Yes, that's my comment. I'd like to
Okay. Second?
get it done.
Second.
Montez de Oca? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mojica's absent. Montez de Oca?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes. The next ordinance is for second reading. Ms. Capone, please read the title for ordinance O-22-26 by title.
An ordinance adopting the Block 277, Lot 10 redevelopment plan pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law.
At this time, I will open up the public hearing for ordinance O-22-26. You will have 5 minutes to speak, and you may only speak once. Please direct all comments to City Council. Ms. Capone, has anybody signed up to speak?
No one has signed up.
Thank you very much. Anybody from the public like to approach the dais to speak on ordinance O-22-26?
Sure.
Oh, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Lisa Vandiver Levy, 254 Oak Street. I'm just curious whether anyone on council knows what Block 277, Lot 10 redevelopment plan even is. Anyone?
There's no back and forth with council
Okay.
members. It's your opportunity to speak.
So, all right, I'm going to assume by the blank stares I'm seeing from all of you that you have no idea what it is.
No, they've been instructed not to engage with you, so it's your opportunity to speak.
I'm talking about their blank expressions. You're engaging with me.
Oh, the similar blank
Council.
expression I spoke when I spoke about anti-black racism that your husband provided. Yeah, that
Really,
expression.
Jeff?
Yes.
You're going there?
Keep go. I am going there, but you can
Okay.
go.
All right, so I want to know why Rahway Community Voice has any standing as to making anti.
I'm trying to figure out why Robert Community Voice has anything to do with ordinance O-22-26.
Council President, speaker's out of order.
So you're doing
Yes.
such a great job.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Great.
All right.
He just called. Yeah, you just called my husband a racist. Yep. Yeah.
Please, can you continue on ordinance O-22-26?
Yes, I'm going to say that no one in this room, other than maybe Mr. Landolfi and Mr. Pukovich, have any idea what this ordinance is about. And I'm still seeing a lot of blank faces. And I know David Brown's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to pass this motion because I just want to let her go. So this is a clown show, officially, and you're presiding over a clown show.
Council President, the speaker's time. The speaker should be advised.
Of course.
not
I
to
mean,
continue.
they're exposing themselves. It's okay. You know, people can watch this. They can see what's going on.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ask Jeff.
Okay.
Seriously, you are our mayor, and you just lectured us on how.
Okay. I'm gonna close. I'm gonna.
You were
Please
just
close.
Speaker's time should be
lecturing us
forfeited,
on how
Council
an elected
President.
official is supposed to act. Meanwhile, you
Okay,
never
Miss
called out Jeffrey
Miss
Jeremy
Miss
Mojica
Vanderveer,
for his
would you please?
actions. Yes.
Would you please?
Well, you keep figuring it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Great job. That was awesome. Great job. All right. Anyone from council have any comments on ordinance O-22?
The ordinance, actually. Alan Levy.
Hold on 1 second, sir. Anybody to my left? Anybody to my right? Ordinance O-22-26. Can you please state your name and your address?
Alan Levy, 254 Oak Street, Rahway. I believe Block 277. That's the Hamilton Avenue plan. That's the one where the property developer, George Capadogli of Meridia Properties, purchased that property for $475,000 3 years ago. Rahway is now paying him $2.2 million for that same property. A profit of 372% in 3 years. Wow. How do I get in on that action?
Excuse me, sorry, Council.
Yes.
Council President, I would like to just mention Block 277, Lot 10 is located in Southern Railway along Westcott Drive. So please.
It's the same plot as 277.
Thank you.
Anyway, made my point. Thank you very much.
Anybody from council have any comments on ordinance-O-22-26? We understand that, and we discussed this, and it's insult to suggest otherwise or assume, but this is what they do. But thank you, Mr. Lindolfi. Are any council colleagues like to have any comments on ordinance-O-22-26? Seeing none, I'm going to ask for a motion and a second to adopt ordinance O-22-26.
I make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Timmons. Second.
Second.
Miles. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Eastman's absent. Jablisco?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Mohika's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes. All right. Now for some unfinished business. I need a motion and a second to adopt block party BP-26-06. That would be the Sycamore Street Block Party, street closure at Sycamore between Jefferson and Madison. Event date scheduled for August the 22nd, 2026. Do any council members have any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, roll call, please.
I need a mover in a second.
Council President, I'll move BP-26-06.
Thank you. Montestioka.
I second.
Councilwoman Timmons.
Councilmember Brown?
Roll.
Yes.
Eastman is absent. Jablisco? Miles?
Yes.
Mohika's absent. Montestioka?
Yes.
Newberry's absent. Timmons?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes. All right. So we come to conclusion of our meeting, but I will allow for my council colleagues to provide any closing statements or comments if they so do, please. First word, Councilman Alpha Maria Montestioka.
Thank you, Council President. Not much tonight. Just thank you all for stopping by and expressing your voice with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're going to go, I was going to say second ward, but our third ward councilwoman, Miss Carla Timmons. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to make mention that the Cherry Street Soiree will be taking place on August 30th. It's a great event. The registration did open today. If it has not yet sold out, please.
The soiree? It sold out in an hour.
It's
It's
already
sold out.
sold out?
It's sold out, yeah.
Okay, so then I would say grab a friend that has a table, come down and join us. A table is not required to participate in the event. It is a great event. If you are here on that date, we would love to see you out. Please support our local businesses in regards to that event, and also every day. I would also like to put to bed the false narrative and statements that have been going around in regards to the council meeting that took place quite a while ago, but I see that things still like to come up and about. Unfortunately, I was rudely interrupted while speaking, so my words have been twisted. However, just to clarify, I was referring to the privacy level that I hold near and dear when my constituents bring private matters to me and ask me to assist them with them. In addition to that, the question was asked about voting, and I was also clarifying the fact that if anything is brought to my attention, I have the opportunity to question what I'm reading from our administration. I never once mentioned that there are private meetings that are being held. So I just wanted to take the time to finish that statement and make it clear that I hold near and dear to my heart your request when you ask me in private to take care of things for you here in the community, one-on-one. Also, anything on a broader level, if I do not have a clear understanding that I do my due diligence prior to coming to the meeting to make sure that I am clear on what I'm voting on. Also, I want to say that summer is coming to an end, so let's grab the last few days of sun and enjoy them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you so much. I'm going to pass the mic to, if you would like to speak, sir, 4th Ward Councilman, Mr. Dave Brown. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'd like to say to Council President, thank you very much, but I'm glad to see that the things in the 4th Ward, with the properties being redeveloped, it's about time. And I'd like to say to the administration, it's a good job in what you're doing, is putting things together to make something happen. Even though people that was done years ago did certain things here within the city that wasn't too good or not too cool, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. But now it's left up to us. It's left up to me to see that I take care of the constituents that have asked me to see about getting that property developed. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, and I can attest to that as well. 6th Ward Councilman, Mr. Joseph Jablisco. How you doing tonight, sir?
Good, sir. I just want to thank the gentleman who came in and explained about our budget. I think it was very clear and it was very helpful for myself and some of the audience back here. The only thing I don't like is try to keep this into like a real council meeting instead of having this little bickering going back and forth. We don't need this here. We just need to get things done. And that's what I got to say. Thank you.
You're a wise man, sir. Thank you. My council at large colleague, Ms. Joanna Miles. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Council President. I'd just like to thank the city, the administration, the DPW, the police, the EMTs, the fire, and all the city workers and the volunteers who are taking part in different events throughout the summer, making them happen, to make the summer in Rahway's fun. I especially enjoyed the World Cup party. It wasn't quite the the ending that I wanted for it. But still, it's cool, and I will be. I know Spain won. I'm going to be off to Spain shortly to see my mum. So, very cool.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, have a great rest of the summer. It hasn't finished. There is still a whole month, and I know this because I'm a teacher. So don't rush it.
And congratulations to England for achieving 3rd place in the World Cup. Great effort. You guys really whipped on France a bit. I'm sure that's special to you.
Yeah, thank you,
All
Council.
right. All right. Well, I hope everyone's enjoying the summer. It's really hard to believe that we're already in August, and I hope that everyone's spending time with their families and enjoying everything that the city has to offer during these warmer months. I want to begin by recognizing a few birthdays this upcoming week in the next few weeks. Shout out to the Leos. My wife's birthday's coming up on Thursday, so happy birthday, baby. And I also have some other Leos that are pretty cool. Shout out to the mayor and the first lady, Laura. You guys will be celebrating your birthday soon. So, yeah. So I hope you guys have a wonderful celebration, and hopefully you're getting away for a few days. That'll be awesome. Tomorrow is a National Night Out. I want to give a great shout out to our Rahway Police Department and our emergency personnel. It's going to be a great day. I'm certain that the weather will hold up. This is a time to meet your community officers. They're there for you to meet and greet and just share your praise and your concern. So thank you for making yourselves available. What time? I think it starts at 6 p.m., right? 4. Okay. I got to rush there after work then. Okay. All right. Thank you. Starting at 4. Okay. 4 p.m. Yeah. Shout out to all the teachers, to all the nonprofit organizations, the faith leaders, the volunteers, the coaches. You guys have been doing a lot of great work, a lot of great community organizations that I'm getting acquainted with for the first time. So, and obviously our Parks and Recreation Department doing an awesome job. Since this is our final council meeting before the students return, I believe on September the 3rd in Rahway, I know as Elizabeth Public School teacher, you're the following week. Lucky you. I want to just give a very warm and successful year to our student body, our teachers, our superintendent, our Rahway Board of Education, administration, and the support staff. Our children are our future. You guys do a great job, and I trust the process. I also want to acknowledge some exciting work that's taking place in the Third Ward. For those of you who have Roll Pie, Leesville, near the Agape Church, you see the Glendinning Homes project is up and underway, rapidly growing up. We'll be providing more information regarding some of the developments with that, but I'm very excited to see what's taking place, not just at that particular location, but around the neighborhood. You know, it started with Madden Field. Administration did a great job with that, you know, and obviously that'll be on full display for the Mayor's Cup. And we're going to have some attractive housing surrounding that, giving the people in that neighborhood the dignity and the amenities that they truly deserve. 100% right of return. So we're looking very forward to a more safe and beautiful and improved housing environment. As we continue to move the city forward, I also just want to recognize that, and I mentioned it earlier, but you know, there's pain throughout the whole entire country. There's decisions that are made in Washington and Trenton that, and beyond that, impact how things operate, you know, locally, whether it be rising calls, new policies, inflation, funding challenges. I think that we met the challenge on each of those. So again, this means us continue to work with collaboration, making thoughtful financial decisions and seeking partnerships, which is my final point that I want to make. And this was something that was addressed a few times here. It was insinuated that when your representatives do their job to advocate for the residents of who they have been elected to represent, that somehow there's going to be some type of exchange. I personally want to thank our Senate State President, Nick Scutari, for all the great work that he's doing. I think it's great to be a friend of the city of Rahway because he represents us. I'd also want to extend that praise and thanks to our assembly personnel, our assembly representatives, Mr. Jim Kennedy and Miss Linda Carter. I think they're doing a great job advocating for the city of Rahway. It's not a bad thing when you get along with your electeds and you recognize that if you put forth good ideas, it would be helpful to have a great working relationship. Collaboration over chaos. We can do this and be polite with each other, and we hear each other better when we approach people with respect. So again, great job to our state representatives. I think it's a great thing that they're advocating for us and working for us. And with that being said, I'm proud to call Rahway home. I'm wishing everybody a very safe and healthy rest of your summer. Oh, and to my little Chloe, happy birthday to you. She's turning 16. Can't wait to celebrate your sweet 16 coming up. That's my baby. And with that being said, I'm going to make a motion, or ask for a motion in a second to close.
Motion.
Motion to adjourn. I got Montez Dioka. Mr. Joseph Jablisco. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All right.